Good afternoon, everyone. On this March 25th of 2021, I'm Mayor Diana Broderson, and welcome to our city. We have a great show today. This is the first ever, I hope we have a whole lot, of our special Our City show, which is the last one of the month. So every month from now on, the last show of the month, we're going to get an update on the Grandview Revitalization Project. And we have two of the heavy hitters that are on that project tonight or this afternoon with us, council members Nadine Brockert and Peggy Gordon. We're excited to have them with us. I have just a couple of quick announcements before we get started with that update. First of all, I just wanted to give a quick update on vaccines. You all know, I hope, that all of the tiers are going to open up on April 5th, which is a week from Monday. But until then, we're still in the levels for 65 and over or 65 and under with underlying health conditions. And then there's other groups within. But if you are trying to access the vaccine, two big places you can go here in Muscatine County is you can sign up over the phone to get on the list for Western Drug. You can also go online and sign up to get or try to find an appointment for Hy-Vee. If you need trouble accessing those, because it can be a daunting task sometimes, I've heard a lot of people struggling with getting on those lists, you can call Senior Resources at 263-7292 or go on 211 and you will be able to talk to a live person on both of them and they will be able to help you get signed up for an appointment. But don't be discouraged if you haven't made any headway yet, but please reach out to those services that are there to help everyone. I did find out late yesterday that Muscatine County is getting a large shipment of Johnson & Johnson vaccine, hopefully on Monday. And that's going to be primarily going to people that work in our factories and industry here in Muscatine. So we're really pleased to hear that. We have had a bit of a snafu since the vaccine rollout has came out in Iowa. Muscatine County has been receiving not what we should be. So there was a problem with the formula. And so Muscatine County has been underserved when it comes to how much vaccine we get. And with it already being started, nobody really wanted to take it away from anyone else who was already getting it. And so we're kind of, I think, getting a gimme a couple times here and getting some bigger shipments like this coming in to make up for some of the sacrifices that we've already made. So please don't be discouraged. Reach out to those service organizations that can help you get signed up for your vaccine. And hopefully we can put this behind us eventually if everybody stays safe, continue following all of the regulations for social distancing and wearing your face coverings and making sure that we do all that we can with hand washing and sanitizing. And I swear our hands have to keep having lotion on them all the time because I just hand sanitize all the time. Even if I talk on the phone, I'm like, okay, you weren't in person. You really don't probably have to hand sanitize, but you get it all stuck in your head. So thank you, everybody. Please call me, though, if you have any trouble accessing the vaccine, and I'll do everything I can to help you as well. Next, I just wanted to share on Saturday is our Muscatine Parks and Recreation Easter egg hunt. So please join them at Weed Park at 10 o'clock a.m. on Saturday. Social distancing will be required as well as face masks, but it looks to be a great time for the kids. I remember as a small child going to the egg hunt here in Muscatine myself. So tons of fun, and all of our kids and grandkids went, and you won't want to miss it. And they are going to do everything that they can to keep everybody safe through it. It'll be outside. That's a big help. But I can't say enough for our Parks and Recreation Department with the city. They have really thought outside the box throughout this entire pandemic season and making sure that they were able to bring the programs to everybody and still protect everybody's safety. So sometimes you really got to think hard on how you can change things up to meet all of those guidelines, but it can be done. And our city staff has really done a good job of doing that. The last thing I just wanted to share with you is next Thursday, which is April 1st, is Blue Out Day in Muscatine. And what that means, it's a time set aside for us to remember child abuse prevention. we really believe that it takes everyone to protect children. It's everybody's business to watch out for children. I was talking to someone in a class I was teaching last night. I was talking about, it really doesn't just count for us to watch out for our own kids and anybody harming them, but we have to watch out for our neighbors' kids and our friends' kids and the people that we work with kids and any child around you in your life. We have to do everything that we can to protect that child. Like it takes a village. It really does. We all have to work together, and Blue Out Day is a time that we can all focus on reminding everyone that protecting children is everybody's business. So if you would wear blue, and one of our guests and myself are wearing blue already today, if we would all wear blue next Thursday and take a picture of yourself or your family or your school classroom or your job and your peers and post it on social media, hashtag Great Childhoods Muscatine. They will be drawn for some prizes, so you never know. But it's a good time for us to all rally together to protect children. So that'll be next week, April 1st. And now I would like to welcome Council members Nadine Brockert and Peggy Gordon. They are spearheading a team that is working on a long-range project to revitalize Grandview Corridor. And I was just talking with someone yesterday. I've heard us call it Grandview Reconstruction Project, which really is about the road part, and then revitalization project kind of encompasses everything. But today we're going to get an update on the whole shebang. So welcome, ladies. Thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much.
So how long, when does the project starting?
We hope to be able to name all of the members of the steering committee sometime in April. And we'll, have our initial meetings, kind of decide what it is we want to focus on to begin with, get our low-hanging fruit, and then progress on from there.
How long do you think this project's going to take?
Oh, at least 2 years.
Oh, that's going to be a big project.
It's nothing short term. Right. It's something that will require commitment from those who are on the steering committee.
What kind of things does the project entail? Maybe you should just explain what it's all about. How about that?
All right, Peg.
Oh, thanks, Nadine. So it's actually going to cover a lot of everything. We luckily already had, like you said, Mayor, the Grandview Reconstruction Project sort of started. I mean, that's been in planning for years, and that's going to kick off this year, and that's redoing Grandview Street from a 4-lane to a 3-lane. And so we just sort of build up from that because there's a lot of great things in that zone. So we wanted to identify this area that we could pay attention to and sort of shine a light on and work other projects, sort of running alongside of the street. Mm-hmm. So Nadine and I started speaking, and of course yourself, Kelsey's involved, and it's amazing all the departments that are going to have some sort of participation. So we wanted to sort of come up with an idea that we could sort of put a lens on that area and communicate to the residents to see all the great things that are coming along or get their ideas, which is sort of one of the first things we need to do.
Mm-hmm.
So we're talking about the streets being redone, the sidewalks, the buildings in the area. We always talk about highlighting the entrances to the community. What kind of have we got as far as thinking of what do we want that entryway to look like?
Probably not quite yet, but what we've identified is we wanted to, one, get the team, like Nadine said, because it's not just a small handful. It's probably going to be in the range of 10 to 14 people committing time for a few years to work on different things. But we have identified 5 pillars that we can focus on different areas.
Okay.
So we've got the reconstruction. We've got economic development, which would be new economic development. So, we've got a lot of things on our wish list there, like grocery store and stuff. How can we get aggressive to do that? We have residents as one of our pillars. What kind of programs and things can we do to help our residents? And that's one of the first things I'll be kicked off with. Jody Royal Goodwin of the Community Development Team. She's already got an intern coming on board to help get the voice to the customer. What are the residents wanting? So that's going to start in May and June. Then we have recreation. We know that this area has tons of recreation already, but I think there's some really exciting things happening. And then businesses. So we're trying to see which area we can fit projects into. And then, like you said, we want to communicate on a regular basis. So we got the 5 pillars as our start.
So there could possibly be then some kind of financial assistance for people that live in that area to fix up the facade or even to fix up their yard and how things look in their homes, to try to spiffy it up a little bit, if you will.
We have spoken extensively with Rebuilding Together Muscatine's executive director, Frank Iliff, who is very enthusiastic about joining our effort. If folks are interested in seeing what he has to offer, he does have application forms. There are limitations as to what they can do. They will only do owner-occupied properties. They don't do multifamily, and they don't do rental properties. That's up to the landlord. But they can do kitchen remodels, bathroom remodels, put some paint on a house, or even just do some landscaping to spruce up the area. And then by doing so, we are anticipating that others will look at that and say, hey, well, I can do that too, and maybe get interested in spiffying up their own property, or identifying people who don't have the resources, or if they're elderly or disabled, that other groups, including Frank's, will be able to come in and assist them. So by doing that, it's something that I anticipate in growing, and that way, if we get entire neighborhoods so that neighbors know each other and they look out for one another, that has a marvelous byproduct in that it tends to drive out any criminal elements that might be in neighborhoods.
You know, we were all at a meeting on Tuesday and listening to Debbie Durham talk about, how things used to be. And I think she really hit the nail on the head. When we were kids, all of the parents in the neighborhood knew all of the kids. And if you acted up, they knew. And if somebody was in the area that didn't belong there, the mothers talked to each other at the fence and said, this is going on over there. And really they policed their neighborhoods better. And so I think you're right. If this project can add to that by helping develop relationships between the inhabitants of the houses there, that'll be a double win, really.
Certainly.
And I could see their property values all going up from this as well.
Well, I think you said the key word, and like Debbie had said at the meeting on Tuesday, it is a neighborhood. So, we're looking at the range from like the bypass up to Hershey, down to like where the McKee building is, down to GPC and the river. So it's a huge area.
Big area.
It's huge, but it really is a neighborhood. If you look at all the things that are in that area, I mean, we've got a school, we've got churches, we've got residents, we've got small business and big business and industry, tons of recreation. We have social help, Salvation Army, and we have so much already there. We just need to shore it up and maybe shine it up a little. But you look at some of the businesses we have, especially right along Grandview and stuff, some are looking really, really good. So how do we encourage other ones to sort of, improve it? And how can we help them with, we need to find funding, whether it's grants, or I'll tell you, this city is pretty good with finding grant money. It's wonderful. But are there things that we can do to help them, or show them that what would help with their property if they just spruce it up a little? So that would be like in the business, but same thing could happen for the residents. And I know Jody's got some great ideas with this Hearts and Soul program that she's using as her foundation for communicating and gathering information. You know, having little events throughout the neighborhood so we can hear what people want.
Yes.
So
We've also identified some business people who are very influential in that area who we are thinking would be able to help move things forward so that everybody gets involved and everyone feels enthusiastic and everybody can see what the benefits would be of doing this project and working together to make sure that everyone is successful.
Sure. You know, I was trying, when you were talking about some of the businesses down there that have really cleaned things up a little bit, I was trying to think of a couple of ribbon cuttings I did down there over the last few years, and business after hours, Chamberlain Heating and Cooling. They have a really nice facility down there now. They had moved down there a few years back, and they've hosted a couple business after hours. Very nice. It's all nice and cleaned up. Muscatine Lumber, that was, you know, that was in pretty rundown position before they took it over, and it really has been cleaned up, and more people are down there using that area.
Well, another example, Mayor, is Pete's Tap. It isn't exactly on the beaten path, but the current owner has gone in. He's completely remodeled the inside. He's added some amenities outside, and he just wants to keep improving. And, you know, the food is great, even if you don't go for the alcohol. So
their wings are top notch.
Well, I guess bluegill's a pretty good draw too. And so are the chicken sandwiches and the tenderloins.
Yes. You know, and I think that's really a testament to this council too. Pete's Tap is a shining example of it. Roger and I, my husband and I, graduated with him, and he works really hard, and he has another job, and he has ran Pete's Tap for many, many years and has been putting his own money back into it. And he wanted to get some help, you know, with some of the funding that was available to businesses in some of the areas, and was not quite fitting into the guidelines. And council came alongside him and was able to help work with him and city staff to help push that forward so he could be successful and have access as well. And I think that's just another positive example about how supportive the council and the city staff are of our small businesses and wanting to assist them and doing everything that we can. So wanting them to reach out, because we can't help them if we don't know. But once they do, we'll do all that we can. And I think that was one very good success story. But you're right, he runs a nice, clean establishment in the neighborhood there by Franklin's, or by, is it Franklin School? Yeah.
Yeah, Franklin's a couple blocks away.
And Taylor Field is right there.
But, you know, they're a perfect example too of, we have to look beyond the street, because we're so focused on Grandview, because it is our quarter. It's our southern gateway into Muscatine, and that's why we need to, we're calling it Grandview Corridor Project, but we have to look beyond that street and look inside the neighborhood. So Pete's Tap, Landaval, all the residents, I drive around going, boy, there's some really cute little houses down here. There's a lot of pride and stuff. So, but we need to dive into that area to hear what people want and see how we can help. And so it's not just the street, it's beyond the street too.
Well, sure. If we just focused on the street and just fixing up the street, it could be, you know, layered with gold and have pearls all up and down it. But if a block out was all still in unkempt situation, you know, that eventually that's just going to filter. So the only way to really address it is to do it holistically.
Exactly.
So it sounds like getting a lot of support and buy-in from the business community and from the residents and city staff and council. And when projects like this take off and they have all of that support from all of the different entities, that's when the possibility and chance for success is the highest, isn't it? It just really is.
Right.
We can't any of us do this alone.
No, and that's why we'll have our core group. We got the council behind us. We got the city. But we might have to be a little more aggressive on some things, like knock on some doors and try to encourage people to do, better things with their building, maybe, because we do have a few eyesores down there. And if it means we got to maybe show them a rendering of what that building could be like with a nominal investment or simple things like that. But we got to be positive, moving forward. Take the small wins too. We do have some low-hanging fruit, which would be wonderful, but we have some long-term projects, so it's pretty darn exciting what we have the opportunity down there to do.
If I was a homeowner in that area, I think I would be really excited about the opportunity to have financial assistance to help me fix up my property, and then know that that also means that my property is going to be higher valued now. I mean, that's huge, when your property value increases as a result of the stuff that you do for improvements. Not only are you going to love having your house all improved, but it's now going to be more valuable, and to have assistance to help with that. And then you're right. Then the neighbors are going to be like, hey, how did that happen? Ooh, I would like to get in on that. And pretty soon, everybody's working together to make everything be really nice. And you're right, though, there may be some people that maybe aren't on board, or they're bigger projects. And but I think if they know that we're all here to help, it's not to punish someone.
No,
it's all about helping them.
We certainly don't want anyone to think they're being judged.
Right.
But we're there to help in the best way possible, and not, just force ourselves on them, but be very encouraging. And I think from what I've heard from everybody so far is I'm encouraged that perhaps someday we can remove the stigma that we know that the South End has had for many, many years, and it will be seen as a prime place to be in Muscatine, not something to be dreaded.
And also it seemed, oh, go ahead, Peg.
No, go ahead, Mayor.
I was just going to say, and it seems like for a long time, the folks in South End, and probably rightly so, have felt left out of some of the resources that were put into beautification. And like some of the resources, we're going to get last pick because we're South End. It should never have been that way.
No.
But we can work on changing it now.
Yes.
Yeah, changing the attitude and stuff. But there's a lot of, like I said early on, there's a lot of great stuff, and just the recreational amenities down there that exist right now.
Oh, yes.
And they're going to come on. But think about adding more walkability. Yes, we have lots of trail systems, but connecting a few more to make it easier. What about walking around the slough? You think, the slough doesn't sound good, but it is a beautiful little park. So it's like just adding on and promoting a lot of good stuff like that. And I know there's some things in the works, hopefully, that we'll hear about. So they have a lot of good stuff, and now we just have to, shine it up.
Yes.
Promote it.
Last year, Soccer West was added, and it's beautiful. And they have the lighting system down there now that can really do some really neat things. If anybody had an opportunity to go down on Halloween, just another example of them thinking outside the box. It was a fabulous event, and the lights that they were able to add, all of that going on, all the graphic stuff, and showing everybody how it all works is just, it's a really neat facility. But I know that many people know that we're, trying to explore adding playground equipment for children with disabilities. That's something that we're looking at. Maybe a skating park, an ice skating park is something else we're looking at. Now, we don't know for sure if all of these things are going to happen, but these are just some of the possibilities.
Right. And that's something we hope to refine a little bit once our intern has been through the neighborhoods and has some data for us to look at in the fall. And that way we can really hone in on the things that people are really concerned about, and maybe some of the things we think they're concerned about aren't as big big an item as what we thought they were.
Sure.
And I think that's a great point, Nadine, is we've got this intern coming in, and like I said, the reporting to Jody and doing the hearts and soul and studying and talking to the residents. You yourself have been really always good about having your fourth ward meetings to try to get that voice of the customer. And I applaud you for that, because it's a great thing to do. Maybe you'll start getting a few more to attend those meetings, so they're going to get excited about their area. Yeah. So, you know what, I want to learn more. I've got some great ideas. I'm going to stop at the ward meetings now, because it is critical. But hopefully, Jody and her intern will sort of build that foundation to open the communication up. Because we can't do something if you don't tell us what you want. We can always assume and come up with great ideas ourselves, but you need to refine it and tune into what they need. So.
Well, and like you said too, Peggy, really trying to focus too on the wonderful things that is going on in South Bend already. I mean, they have their own fire station down there. They have gas stations, they have churches, they have nonprofits in the area, businesses in the area, restaurants in the area. I mean, there's several restaurants that we frequent regularly. Well, not for the past year, except for takeout, but that, I mean, there's a lot of things going on down in that area, and the recreation. I would have to say there's more recreation and parks in that area than there are any other one area in Muscatine. So, I mean, I can't think of any that has as much as they do down there. And even the trail system, and now if you kept on going, with Deep Lakes Park being down there for the county, I mean, there's just more and more to attract you throughout there, that whole way.
Well, and you can easily connect to the downtown.
Yes.
And to Weed Park. I mean, the trail system just keeps going and going and going. And so this one area that we're focused on is already connects to the other beautiful parts of Muscatine. And we just have to keep that in mind. Our focus is right now for this area, but it's not that we're ignoring the rest of town, because we still have lots of things we need to accomplish for the rest of our city. But we just think this needs a little more attention right now. And we can't say anything. I mean, look at our industry down there. We've got some great internationally known industry, and they do a great job, and they are huge supporters of our town. You can't ask them without them usually stepping up to the plate and helping. And so it's, it just helps them too. If we can get that workforce that lives next to them, that can easily get to work, that's great. I mean, it's a great neighborhood.
We are really blessed with awesome, Fortune 500 companies, Fortune 1000 companies. Muscatine is very wealthy in that way, with the industry that we have, and they are in turn very supportive of giving back to the community.
Yes, they are,
and helping, to make Muscatine be just better and better and better as it can be. Can you see this model that we're utilizing for the Grandview project? Can you see this model being honed and perfected so that it could be a model moving forward to be copied to work on East Hill,
Most certainly.
or West Hill?
Most certainly.
So it's going to have impact in many ways.
Yes.
We've already recommended that to Jody. Is like, she's got this program, this heart and soul, program that she's following to gather information and everything like that. And I suggested that she, after this one with the Grandview areas, we tweak it a little, and then she take it to another section. And again, it's like getting that voice of the customer. She just sort of refines it. She's borrowing it from sort of Dubuque has done it using this program. So it's not something, we're going to borrow it, refine it to our needs. But I think we have a lot of great opportunity there, so we can just keep moving it around and see where we need to focus. And yeah, it could be East Hill. at least for the part of understanding and communicating and seeing what else we need.
Sure.
So,
because I think if I'm thinking about, South End, I grew up on East Hill, over by Madison School, and not a lot has been done in that area for years. And now it's starting to need some revitalization in that area, where before it was really, when I was living there going into my 6th grade of school at Madison when they built the mall. And so that was all new development in that area. But now, after all these years, it's needing some attention too. So I can see, that's what I was hoping for when we get through with the Grandview project, just keeping on moving around the city, seeing what needs done and keeping on working on it.
Sure. We find out what works, what doesn't work so well, and accommodate the specific needs of this specific area, because not all areas in town are the same. We have differences.
Yep. So this is our first update where we're really rolling this out to the community, what we're working on with Grandview. What can you see? Next month we'll have another update. What do you think is going to be happening between this month and next month?
We will be assembling the committee.
Okay.
We'll be refining where we want to start with input from committee members, and get our shovels in the ground, so to speak, and get to work.
So there will be, you have the 5 pillars.
Yes.
So there will be like the one group working on everything as a whole, and then there will be 5 task forces, subcommittees. And so then they will report back to the full group. So what can the public do if they want to be involved?
They can contact either one of us.
Okay.
Go ahead, Peg.
Yeah, no, I would recommend emailing us on our city council email address. Include the 2 of us and the mayor, and Kelsey's also on the committee. If you send to one of us, we'll get it to everybody. Then also expect that because one thing we need to do is make sure we report and communicate to everybody. So hopefully, Mayor, every month it might be just a quick little Gantt chart. It's sort of a project planning thing to show, here's our timeline for the street, which is going to stretch out a couple years. And then here's some other things that are happening in these small areas. So in June to August, we're going to see Hearts and Soul, or the intern and the communication, or we might see something added to the residential, like we're going to have a work day or an event to communicate. So we'll have a Gantt chart of very high level to say, here's what's happening and what's their status. Are they going to be delayed? Are they completed? Some simple things so people sort of know what's going on. We've asked Kevin Jensen to maybe think about putting a single page website on the city site so we can keep the updates. But I would expect you to be able to have a quick update and say, this is on task, here's some new things, here's some things that were completed,
Because we want the public to be involved in every step, right? We want their input.
Yes.
We want to have the communication flowing both ways.
Exactly. Communication is key.
Yes, because I was really thinking that not so much serving on the committees, but there's going to be a lot of opportunities for the community to be involved, even if it's helping at rebuilding together. They can call Frank Iliff, and I'm sure he would enlist their help to do some of these projects.
Exactly.
And like you say, maybe there's going to be some large group events. Maybe there's going to be some small neighborhood things going on, neighborhood meetings. So I can see where there's a lot of opportunities for community involvement.
Yeah,
definitely. The more the merrier, as they say.
Yes. Because, it's all of us together. Even if we don't live in Grandview, we live in Muscatine. We don't live in South End, we live in Muscatine, and what impacts one part of town impacts us all.
And it's our southern gateway.
It is.
People do come in from Burlington and Letts and Wapello, and so we want to greet them. So even if they're just turning up the bypass, that's fine, but we want them to know that what was straight ahead is wonderful too.
That's
You
right.
know.
Yeah,
So.
there's been a lot of cleanup in that on our gateway in the last year, and we just want to build on that.
That's right. That's right.
Yep.
Anything else we want to talk about before we end the show for today?
Whether it's residents reaching out to us or businesses that are interested in more, I think that might be one of our first things is, Jody's got her resident communication working, but I think we need to set up some meetings to communicate with the businesses because they might have a little longer planning cycle, like if they want to do a refresh. That's not something they might do in 2 months. They might say, well, I can budget it for the spring of 2022.
True.
So, but this gets them thinking about how they can help or help themselves. That helps with neighborhood. I think we also need a meeting with the churches and such, because they might be looking for projects, and there are people live in that area.
Yes, that's
So
right.
it's not just the churches there, but throughout the whole community. So they can start thinking about how can we help down there.
Exactly. And they also would be in contact with those in need of some assistance.
Oh,
that's more
true.
so than what we would be.
Yep.
And we're coming right up to the season where it's going to be time to get outside and do these kinds of things.
Yay.
Perfect. That's right. Well, I can't thank you both enough for coming on today. I think the more and more we talk about this project, the more it's going to be out there, the more people are going to understand and feel like they're a part of it. Because I think that's our goal, is for everybody to work together and make Muscatine a better place. And that's only going to happen when we all feel a part of it and ownership in our community. So thank you. Thank you so much, both. We'll talk about it again next month and look for an update, and we'll have some successes and maybe some stuff that isn't done yet, but we'll just keep on trucking.
Okay. Sounds
Thank you,
great.
Mayor.
Thank you both so much. As we close out today, I just wanted to say next week, our guest is Shane Orr, and he's the director of United Way of Muscatine. And he's going to talk to us a little bit about some new processes that they're using at United Way and really working on basically what we're working on with the Grandview project, making Muscatine a better place. And we're going to hear about some of the new things that they've developed and some new, I don't want to say that their mission has changed, but certainly some of the way that they're targeting using the fundraising dollars that they have to make sure that people are successful as they go into adulthood, making sure that we're targeting children and youth as they're small and getting them, keeping them armed with tools for success. And it's really starting out early, that kindergarten readiness, making sure that the children are engaged at a young age for early learning and a lifetime of learning, so that they can all reach their goals and be successful adults, which is what everybody wants to do. Tonight, please remember there's no city council meeting. It's the fourth Thursday of the month. So we'll see you next week, April 1st, April Fool's Day. Council will be back in chambers. We will still be welcoming the community virtually. So we'll be doing a hybrid session there, but please log on and we'll still have an opportunity for the public to weigh in. Thanks again to council members Brockert and Gordon. We appreciated you joining us today, and we look forward to seeing you here next week on Our City. Bye-bye.